Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Talk Network channel here, and welcome to Steve's Wrestling Ramble, where we show each and every week on Thursday evenings, usually starting at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Which tonight I decided to start a little bit earlier because A, I had the time to, B, because I can, and C, we have a lot to talk about, a lot of news in WWE to bring up, beyond talking Raw and SmackDown individually, but big news, especially the biggest one being about Alberto Del Rio, or Alberto Patron, as he's known in GFW, and Paige in their situation, we'll just put it lightly in there, in that context. Well, let's welcome our co-host for the evening and co-host forever. First, Kyron Chase, how you doing this evening? Welcome back.
What's up, Steve? What's up, Mark? I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're doing good. And Mark Rambo, how are you doing?
What is going on, Steve Wrestling Ramble? What's going on, Steve? What's going on, Kyron? Let's get straight to business because I got a lot to
And all right, there's a lot of avenues where to go, just like there's a lot of avenues with this storyline to go. But I've decided to start the show with this being the main thing that I want to talk about. That's Kurt Angle, the text messaging saga storyline, and everything in between. We will find it on Monday Night Raw. A person will be going up, bringing them on the show, and going to, the mystery's going to be solved. We're going to identify the mysterious person, what the situation is, and let's count the ways that I can go. There's so many ways it can go, and I'll let you guys give your thoughts first before I give mine. So let's start with Mark Ramble. What are your thoughts? Where do you think it's going to go? Who do you think it's going to be? And what do you think's going to go on? Because also I found out, or we all found out, breaking news from WWE's Twitter handle, that Kurt Angle will be doing a live interview after Monday Night Raw. So obviously that'll be continuing the storyline. So with that information as well, Mark Ramble, what are your thoughts on the storyline, or where do you think, I guess at least at Monday, the end game will be, at least at that point?
Guys, I'm going to say it like this. There's been a lot of rumors, people speculating, circulating in the Twitter world that the former TNA president, as we all know, Dixie Carter, is supposed to be on Raw. What I honestly think is going to happen is Dixie Carter isn't going to be on Raw. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be somebody like Stephanie McMahon, maybe messing, Kurt Angle up, considering the fact that she's been out of TV time for so long. It would be cool to see Carter, but it would just be really, really strange. Just like what Josh said on our Twitter convo. Like he said, it would be kind of weird to bring somebody of that position to Raw, considering how Vince McMahon is. I think Stephanie or Dixie Carter will be that mystery person, and I think they're gonna try to put them into the storyline. It would be kind of weird if it was Dixie Carter, but I think either those two will be put into the storyline, trying to mess Kurt Angle up, and we could have a possible Triple H Kurt Angle feud if it's Stephanie. So I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna end off with that.
Okay, Kyron?
This has me really thinking because on one hand, I'm interested to see where it's gonna go this Monday night, but at the same time, I'm looking at this like, well, it could be stupid.
Yep.
My prediction is, I know a lot of people think it might be Dixie Carter, especially considering the fact that Raw is gonna be in Nashville this Monday. But I really hope it's not even like Kurt's having an affair enough. And I would like to say, like, what if Stephanie is just, and Triple H are just playing Kurt in a way, just like to throw him off his game, so they can have a reason to feud over management of Raw? Because let's be honest, Kurt's been a pretty good GM since he took over as Raw general manager. So maybe because Stephanie is who she is, she wants the power back, and she wants to alter herself in Triple H, so she could just be using anyone. And who knows, it could be just Dixie, just to throw Kurt off and to make him, throw him off his game to the point where they have him saying, you're not fit to be general manager this way. And they can try, and at SummerSlam, Triple H versus Kurt, and if Kurt wins, he gets to stay Raw GM. That's just how I think it should be.
Sorry about that, guys. I had to take a phone call while Kyron was talking. But my way, the way I think this is going to be going down is just having, man, as predictable as that is, as much as I would really want it to be Dixie Carter, because trust me, I want it to be Dixie Carter because they're going to be in Nashville. They're going to be in Tennessee, and the former home of TNA and everything, and her being former TNA president, the fact that she was in the W24 Homecoming, which by the way was pretty awesome in its own right. Kurt Angle, W24, that aired that meeting with the Raw this past Monday. So as much as a fan of me wants it to be Dixie Carter and be that kind of shocking thing, we got to think of all the other avenues that it could be as well. Could it be legitimate child? Could be, I know a lot of people are talking with that, where maybe Chad Gable being the mystery person. Because it doesn't just have to be like a romantic fling that way. I know I was, and some others were thinking that way too because of what was said. Like to me, I was stuck on the whole "I love you" part of the whole ending phone call with Kurt Angle on Raw. If he said anything else but that, or just a general, we'll share to the world information. Without that, then I'm just hung up on that. Like, who could it be in that way, and who could it be that he loves that could affect his career and affect his job right now as general manager? That's why most are leading to a Stephanie McMahon thing. But there are other avenues. Child, I also heard from some other YouTubers that talk pro wrestling of it being a love interest, but a gay love interest. And Kurt Angle character being bi or gay. I don't see that happening either, but you never know. All the options are out there. It could go any which way. But what probably going down and being the Stephanie McMahon thing, bringing her back on TV, bringing Triple H back. As much as I want them to hold that off all the way to WrestleMania, between Triple H and Kurt Angle, but they're gonna have it earlier, have it here at SummerSlam, then fine, that'd be how it be. And I know we've been talking since Kurt Angle became the GM. How is Stephanie going to come back? How are they going to have her come back, or write her back into the show, or have her come back to Raw? And maybe this is the way. I would hope it'd be some other way, but you never know. All I hope for in this segment, when it does happen on Raw, whether it's at the 8 o'clock hour or as I think it'll be the main event of the show, is that it's not cringy, that it's not bad, it's sort of thing in that way. And I don't mean bad in who it is and what it is, just bad and cringy of just how it's portrayed, even more so. Because even if it's something that's different, that's something that I didn't think about, or something that might be interesting in its own right, still can be shown on TV to be actually entertaining and interesting more than we thought it could be. Then if it was something that we predicted it to be or thought it to be, but the way it's presented on television being cringy, just maybe as much cringeworthiness as Day in Your Life with Alexa Bliss. So we hope not to see that or something like that in that way. I just wanted to come off. I work out well, and then we have the interview part, which will be after Raw with Kurt Angle. That's why it makes me think that it is more of our love interest stuff kind of storyline than being anything than else. That other ideas there, but I don't know. Either way, I just hope that it comes off right on Raw, not cringy. Whatever it is to be, and we move on from there. I still think in the end, Corey Graves might become Raw GM and all this, but we'll certainly see his involvement or his part in all of this in general than just being the ones getting the messages. So any rebuttals or any other thoughts on these subjects as we're still on it?
I'm going to agree with you, Steve. I do hope it's nothing, cringy or boring. I hope it is something that would be worth watching. Because if it's, let's say, for example, it is Dixie Carter. It will be good for the moment. It's just more like what's next. So how will she even fit in the WWE ring, considering her and Vince are completely different when it comes to operating? I'm gonna have to agree with you on some points, but if it is Dixie Carter, I wouldn't mind because it's a fresh piece. So that's the one plus that I have.
Okay, Kyron, do you have any other?
Well, I really just hope they handle this with subtlety, even though WWE isn't really subtle, and they handle respect. Like you said, don't make it stupid or anything. And the thing about Dixie Carter, a lot of people say they want to be Dixie Carter. I'm not in the minority, so I'm not gonna act like I am. I don't like Dixie Carter that much, and a lot of the wrestling fans don't either. She's like Stephanie McMahon, but with less knowledge about the business. I'm not joking when I say that. So a lot of people want to see her, but they think if it was Dixie, it'd be pretty cool. What are they gonna do with it? Like exactly, what can they really do with Dixie Carter? I mean, obviously you can bring her as the one that's been texting Kurt, but where do you really go from here if it's Dixie Carter? Now, if it's Stephanie, well, I'd rather it not be because. What the heck was that, Mark? Never mind. If it's Stephanie, well, I'd rather her heel character not really return right now because I like how Raw's management's going. You can build more off of that than if it was Dixie Carter. I feel like if it was Dixie, because I really don't have her signed with the company, it could be just like a one-off just to get it over with. Whereas if it's Steph, you can build on it and it can become a longer storyline that ends at SummerSlam.
I don't know. It's just time will tell, really. Time will tell.
Here's a question for you both, and either one can go in whatever order. I don't really care. But do you think it would be too early to have this match between Kurt Angle and Triple H, which I do think will happen at some point? Do you think it would be too early to have it here at SummerSlam coming up in late August than to wait for it for Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, or WrestleMania even?
I think, with Raw already starting to build the SummerSlam now, I think having the SummerSlam might be the best option. Because suppose they drag it on till, God forbid, WrestleMania. After a while, the bickering between Kurt and Stephanie and the feud will get old. And everyone loves Kurt Angle. That's no doubt. No, everybody loves Kurt Angle. They want him used the best way. And I think that if you want to have him, have one more match in WWE, I think there are better options. If they're gonna do a match with Triple H, I'd rather it happen like sooner rather than later, because we saw how the Seth Rollins stuff went with Triple H. They dragged it on forever, and with Triple H not even being there at the time, that really hurt the rivalry to the point where it eventually did happen. It didn't have the fire it could have. So I think it's best to do it you got about 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks to SummerSlam. I think that's enough time to build up to a match between Kurt Angle and Triple H.
Agreed.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think it would, at least for me personally, I'd rather have it wait all the way to WrestleMania. Then maybe we don't even have Stephanie coming back until the end of this year, early next year. As late as after Royal Rumble, Raw after Rumble, coming back for having her off TV for that long. I know there's some in the WWE universe that want that for sure. Not just for holding off the Triple H Kurt Angle match, but for having Stephanie off their TVs for that long. For those that dislike her, but I don't know. We'll certainly see. Maybe she'll just come back to not tomorrow, but on Monday for Raw, and they'll go from there and they'll be at SummerSlam with most think. But either way, it'll certainly be interesting. Now, this next story that we're going to talk about, since I think we're done with this one, main story we're going to talk about, I'm just going to bring it up. Paige Alberto Del Rio, and I'll let you guys share what you already know, what you've been hearing, and your thoughts on the subject in itself, because that's all you need to say. Paige and Alberto Del Rio relationship, and everybody has some of an idea of what we're talking about. And obviously, as each of you speak, you can let the listening public know more in depth. And we'll start with Kyron.
Domestic violence and domestic abuse is one topic I don't really feel very comfortable talking about. But in this case, I'm gonna give you my 2 cents. When this relationship first happened, a lot of people were against it. Fans, the WWE in general, they were saying they wanted to break it up by separating them, putting Del Rio on SmackDown and Paige on Raw. Eventually, he quit, and looks like Paige might be leaving too. So I thought, at this rate, they really do feel for each other. Well, they said, I got no problem with it. It's their personal business, do whatever. But then, and El Patron has been, throwing a lot of shots at WWE, but and since he left. But let's just get on to what we've been hearing lately. The airport situation with apparent them getting to an argument, And Paige has been doing a lot of defending of El Patron, saying how she threw a cup at him the other day. She like he never hit her. But when you have reports of her brothers saying she's had a lot of marks and scratches on her, and they don't trust him, and how he's a control freak, and her life's just gone to crap since he got with her, both professionally and personally, and how he is rich enough and has the money to the point where he can make people be quiet. I don't know. I know Paige is saying he didn't do anything, but this is what happens in domestic violence a lot, where the victim says, they didn't do anything to, one, protect themselves, and two, because maybe she does love him and she just doesn't want to lose him. But for Paige, I think this is dangerous for her. He's obvious. I mean, I don't want to, make any false accusations, but all evidence points to the fact that he's been abusing her. And I think it's best for her and him that they both get help, and it's best for her that she tries to get away from him. I know it might be dangerous and scary, but she has to do what's best for her. And I think what's best for her career and her personal life is to get rid of El Patron.
Mark?
With Kyron when he said, domestic violence. This topic of discussion for me. I'm obviously completely against. Anybody should be for it. Let's be real. I'm gonna have to piggyback off of what Kyron said with Paige's brother saying what he said about her life. Paige, if you read what he said, I'm gonna assume Paige has been through a lot. And in the paragraph that Paige's brother wrote, he said she was mentally and physically, I guess you could say, or tormented or abused or something. Pragmatics. He said that he technically used an 18-year-old, in the relationship. 18, he was probably older. I honestly don't think. I don't know much about that particular thing, but the way he was describing it was not. And then you go with Alberto, don't put Bertrand or whatever his name is. I'm just gonna call him Del Rio. You go to this thing now, and you see him in Global Force Wrestling, and you see like what he's been doing in Global Force, and how she's been brought Paige around, and how you could see Paige's wrestling career is derailing. It's kind of obvious right there. I honestly think she should leave Alberto because it's not working. I think she just needs time to herself, considering what her brother has been saying, how he's been abusing her and stuff like that. I just think it'd be best if she just leave him alone and do her own thing, because right now it's not working. I think if the airport did really work, I mean, it did not really work, but if it really happened and it wasn't anything fake, and Alberto Del Rio was really, I guess you could say, putting his hands on her, then we really have a problem. There's somebody should be there to stop that. And if it's a cover-up, then man is insane. Like, that means he's probably been doing this more than once. And it's probably not just Paige who went through that. It's probably his ex-wife, in which he divorced. I don't know. I just think he should just, have time to herself more than anything, because at the end of the day, the only person who's going to be with you 24/7 is yourself. So she needs to just get away from just relationships and Alberto Del Rio. She needs to focus on herself and her comeback. Because at this point, it's not even working. You can't just come to WWE with all this BS and drama coming with you and expect everything to be good. I think she should just leave Alberto Del Rio and just focus on herself. That's what I think.
No, I agree there 100%. And just with all the conflicting reports back and forth there, and with what Paige said and the audio and this and that, classic That's going to be abuse victim, just blaming themselves, saying that they were in the wrong, that they could have done something different, better, and what or better, or should have, or they were in the wrong, and this and that, and the other person wouldn't have done what they did, and that as well. Well, that's makes me think that not only this true, but it's probably been happening since their relationship even started. But both of them are in the wrong, and who's to know, and who's to say that Paige has done the same to Alberto? Both ways. They're both abusing each other. Whether Paige is abusing him more mentally, psychologically, and Alberto abusing her physically, which physically is worse than all of the three, of course. But with both of them being kind of wrong in the head in the moment in their lives right now, I think they both need individual psychic help or psychiatric help. Then and a couple counseling more, so just individual, see what's wrong with each one of them individually, and then help them oneself to then maybe help the relationship. And maybe if that's the case, then you'll find out that they were never meant to be together, or maybe they are, and just bad things happen on both sides of it. Because I'm not exonerating Paige 100%, but I'm also not I'm not condoning what Roberto did either. They're both in the wrong, at various degree of being wrong. So I think the first step for them is to admit their issues individually and then together, and then each getting the help that they need themselves and go from there, because I think that's the best way. And I think we go for force wrestling to suspend Del Rio or Alberto Patron there, who is their champion. Just unfortunate for them. They get good press, or Impact now GFW getting good press from Slammiversary, that pay-per-view, and it seems like some they're floating above water, and they have this former WWE superstar becoming their champion, and this and that, with his following. And then this happens, and they did the right thing. They did what I think was the only thing to really do at this point. Suspend him indefinitely until the end of it. They do their own investigation, and also outward investigations as well, and see how things go. Now, there being a tape show, they already have episodes in the can that will be showing off Alberto on there as a champion. I don't know exactly what's going on in the storyline over there because I don't watch them. I only saw when Alberto won the championship, or when the championships were united, when GFW was taking over of Impact. But yeah, and I think WWE needs to release Paige here shortly. Again, let her get her help that she needs, and maybe in the future at some point she can come back to WWE then. But right now, they both just need to get help. That's the main thing. But I think we got everybody's thoughts on that. Let's move on then to Monday Night Raw from this past Monday. Thoughts on Raw and everything that went down the Raw after Great Balls of Fire and the aftermath of that. Let you guys give your thoughts on everything on Raw individually. So we'll start with Mark Ramble, Monday Night Raw. Anything and everything you want to bring up, you're welcome to now.
I'm honestly just waiting for freaking Matt and Jeff Hardy to become obsolete and bring in these broken characters. It's taking forever. I don't even know what is taking them so long. I hope they're still not fighting this court battle for for whoever's responsible for this character. I really think it's stupid that GFW, very thing, Impact, whatever you want to call it. Now GFW is trying to, I guess you could say, stay alive, because the thing that kept them alive was the broken characters, or actually the Hardy Boys idea. And they're actually suing these guys, or at least trying to get, I guess, control of the character just so they can stay alive. That's what I think of it as. I think they know that it's not theirs, but they're just doing it so they could still be in business, because really, let's be real, nobody's watching GFW. But I'm waiting for that to happen. I want to see what the hell Big Cass is going to do now that he's a singles competitor, and he needs to change his theme song. It's getting annoying already. But let's get to the good stuff. Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns was the best segment. And I got so much hate off this. I put a video up on YouTube And it was a lot of reaction to that segment. And people, you're a Roman hater, and etc. This and that. I don't hate Roman for him to be a heel, and since he's not a heel, I dislike the man. I'm not saying I hate the person or I hate Roman Reigns as a human being. I just hate the character. He needs to be a heel. That's what people don't get. But I don't think they'll ever understand that as long as I'm saying Roman sucks. But yeah, that segment was great. I thought Samoa Joe literally was like added into that segment the same way he put everything had into this rivalry. I do not think Great Balls of Fire will be the last time we see Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar. Hands down. There's no freaking way that'll be the last time we'll see this to go at it in a pay-per-view match for the Universal title. Let's get to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, I'm praying to God this man does not win Monday. I really don't want him to win Monday. If anything, let him, if he does win, let him win Monday and lose to Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, only for Samoa Joe to beat Brock Lesnar at that next pick. I could see that. If they want to do it like that, that's fine. For adding Samoa Joe against Samoa Joe, being Roman Reigns' name is Joe in real life and Samoa, but overall, I thought Raw was good. I thought Raw was actually really, really, really. It was a great, I guess you could say, after show for Great Balls of Fire, because I thought Great Balls of Fire was unbelievably good.
All right, Kyron, your thoughts on everything going down on Monday Night Raw?
Well, like I was tweeting Monday night, I wish the Hardy would stop trolling us. But they're gonna probably keep doing it because Jeff Jarrett, if any of you saw one of the videos I sent you today, he said how the Hardys do not own the broken gimmick.
Yes, they do. Fuck you, Jeff Jarrett.
Hold on for 1 second.
Fuck you, Jeff Jarrett. That's all I'm gonna say. Fuck you.
Okay, as I was saying, Jeff Jarrett said that the Hardys don't own the gimmick of this. They should, because one, I think it's kind of petty team they're holding on to, especially since they're gone. I mean, this is the gimmick that kept them alive, and they were the only thing being taught. That it wasn't for the broken gimmick last year, except they're possibly going out of business like they do every year. So broken Matt Hardy, and especially because he was like the best and most talked about thing last year in wrestling. So you got that. I really don't know what to think. Oh yeah, but it was I think, but it does seem like WWE might be sort of building towards that. Matt, he was bleeding Sunday night, Great Balls of Fire. His head was attacked by the club. Then the Revival came out and gave him a Shatter Machine, best tag team wrestling. And then increases the head damage, and that's how the broken gimmick started in TNA. I thought Goldust and R-Truth had a decent match that the crowd was dead for. The Lesnar, Joe, Roman segment was just great. Everyone looked good in that. And it was cool seeing how Brock actually smiled and shook Kurt's hand. Like I tweeted, I think Kurt Angle is one of the few people Brock has the utmost respect for, both on and off screen. But one segment I'm surprised you didn't talk about, Mark, was the Mizzy segment. The Mizzy Awards.
I forgot all about that.
That segment had me in stitches. It was hilarious. With Miz giving best supporting actors to the Miz Taraj and Axel and Dallas, which was funny. When Maurice got her award, she started crying when she accepted. That had me laughing. And Miz giving himself best male, which had me rolling. I tweeted, I deserve one for best wrestling YouTuber at the age of 17.
I saw that one.
I thought that was a pretty good segment. How Dean Ambrose came out. I really wish the feud wouldn't continue, but when they added to it, had me intrigued with Seth coming out to save Dean, and Dean pretty much telling Seth, "I don't need you." And then later night, Bray Wyatt beat Seth Rollins cleanly again. Is the world coming to an end? I just need to know that. With Bray Wyatt getting 2 victories, and then the Miz Taraj and Miz coming from the crowd to attack Seth, and then Dean repaid them. Which I'm in the minority who doesn't want a Shield reunion. Like, I don't want the Shield to get back together, period, because all 3 are doing good on their own. They've all been WWE champion. They're all main eventers. They're all big stars in the company. They beat everybody. There was the beat. They won all the gold, and they broke them up at the perfect time to the point where it was shocking. and it didn't get stale. And the fact that people want more will solidify Shield as one of the greatest factions of all time, which is why I don't think the Shield should get back together. But overall, I thought Raw was a pretty good show.
I thought Raw was pretty good. I do think though SmackDown did it better, at least between the two shows. But Raw was solid in its own right. I think the segment of the night was the segment most promoted, being with Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar in the ring for the first time in a while, with Roman Reigns. As I tweeted during our interaction during Raw, that's the way to try to get fans on the side of Reigns, is have him go out there and make that one liner about Brock not being there, not being that champion champion that's there every week. That was a good line there, and they got a good pop. So, I guess that worked for that moment. But beyond that, in itself, it's Samoa Joe there, and I think we're probably going to get a fatal four-way match. I would assume for SummerSlam, because Braun Strowman won the ambulance match. Roman Reigns almost destroyed Braun Strowman after the match. Samoa Joe held his own against Brock Lesnar, for earned his respect, and I heard backstage, or at least backstage news, that he did. Brock was raising the match after coming through curtain after the match, and then Brock Lesnar is the champion. So I see probably a fatal four-way at SummerSlam for the Raw main championship, for the WWE Universal Championship at that time. So the Mizzies, they were all right. I still hope to see Bo Dallas and Dallas and Axel win the tag team titles on Raw. That'd be really cool. And then you have them as the tag team champions. The Miz, IC champion. He wouldn't shut up about it, as he is a great heel as he is already. But taking those two under his wing and then winning the tag team titles would only solidify that team here and there, and that and the Miz in itself, his own ego, and stroked in that way. So certainly was a good show overall. Yeah, Bray Wyatt getting wins. Yeah, it's good for now, and at least it ends that feud with Seth. Then on to the IC title, because you had the Miz during the Mizzies kind of calling out Seth, and you see Seth coming out there to get after the Miz, not to help Dean, but to get after the Miz after what he said. Technically, the Hardy Boys were brought up too, but we don't see the Hardy Boys because they're doing their own thing. But maybe again another triple threat fatal four way for SummerSlam. We'll certainly see how everything goes. But a good, solid Raw altogether from my taste, and certainly was obviously entertaining, but interesting, especially with being the Raw after a pay-per-view event, especially when like Great Balls of Fire and how everything went down there for sure. I think that's everything to bring up here from Monday Night Raw. Let's move on to SmackDown Live on Tuesday night. What's your guys' thoughts on that, Karen? Everything that happened on SmackDown Live?
Well, first off, let me just say it was great seeing my two favorite guys on SmackDown, Cena and Styles, tease another match between the two, because the two they had, especially SummerSlam and Royal Rumble this year, was my favorite match of the main roster last year, and it's my favorite match of the main roster so far this year, my favorite match in general this year. It was great seeing those two tease another match because everyone wanted to see it. Kevin Owens cut a good promo. John and AJ, all three of them cut good promos. I love the opening video package when they show AJ win the title, especially seeing one of my favorite YouTubers, Luigi PS3, used in the intro. The tag team main event was, standard tag team match, but it was interesting seeing John in that tag team match as the babyface in peril. Usually it's the other way around. But John took a lot of damage and AJ made the comeback save, which was pretty cool. But the Fashion Files segment again was freaking hilarious because those guys are gold and they deserve the tag team titles. What else happened? Seeing Ty Dillinger was pretty good. Hopefully he can finally win a match. I really wish they would do something else with the women besides having a bunch of multi-women matches, but as we all know, and we'll probably bring it up, they've been doing a lot. They're going to be doing a lot of that lately in the next few months and things like that. SmackDown, I thought it was decent too, but I actually kind of like Raw more, mainly because it had more memorable things to remember from it. And while SmackDown wasn't bad, I admit I don't remember a lot from the show in general, which is another reason why we give Raw the W this week. But that's all I really have to say on SmackDown.
Okay, Mark Rambo.
Cena Styles. I was honestly looking forward to that match. Styles came up just being what AJ Styles usually is. Cena came out of nowhere unexpectedly. I was like, what? Oh, man, not this. At first, I was like, not this again. But then they started going at it. And I was like, whoa. I remember the last match they had. Let's make this happen. And they got the ref out there. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be legit. They're gonna start off the show with a title match, like, and that could have been a main event for the show. But of course, they didn't. They don't want none of that. I was honestly looking forward to that match. That's probably one of the only things I was really intrigued by. And then the Baron Corbin Shinsuke Nakamura issue. I thought that was sick. I honestly am looking forward to this match. It's something very rare because I'm slowly, very, very slowly, like the pace of a turtle growing. I mean, like Baron Corbin. Very, very slowly. Very slowly. He needs help on that mic. I don't know about you guys, but he's screaming for help with mic skills because he is not great with the mic at all. You could see not believable in a way. But I thought SmackDown was cool. I'm gonna have to give Raw, if I was to choose between Raw and SmackDown this week, I'm gonna have to give it to Raw, considering what Samoa Joe and Roman Brock did, and then the Kurt Angle issue. But SmackDown was cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this week in wrestling.
Steve, before you go on, can I add something to what Mark just said?
Go ahead.
Well, with mic skills, I agree with what you said about Baron Corbin. His mic skills, not the best. Also, I think another reason why we both said Raw was better because we gotta take into account Raw is already getting ready for SummerSlam. SmackDown has to get past Battleground first. So while Raw is building to the big show, that SmackDown has to finish with their B show first. So I think that's another reason because Raw is booking further into the future than SmackDown is right now.
That is true. That is very true.
I agree. If it wasn't the same case, only the opposite reversed heading into WrestleMania and Royal Rumble. SmackDown had their pay-per-view early in the month, and then Raw had to have theirs, and then they were on the road to Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. We had to wait for that B show to finish up and then, create new storylines or continue the storylines into this big pay-per-view of the Big Four. Now, it being SummerSlam, and again, like I said, I think the role is being reversed now from what it was then with Raw having the first pay-per-view of the month. Now they're on the road to SummerSlam. SmackDown going to have their show the next weekend, not this weekend, but the next weekend, because we'll be doing predictions next week here on the show. So they'll have their show then of Battleground. Then after Battleground, then they can be on the road to SummerSlam. And again, I want to bring up the whole fact with that logo for Battleground, with the flag, with the U.S. Hungarian flag, making the John Cena Rusev flag match even bigger than, at least to me, at least in just the logo itself, and I'm sure in the end it's not, bigger than the Pajama Prison match for the WWE Championship, which is unfortunate in its own right, because I think, and I do believe ever since he did win the WWE Championship, that Jinder Mahal has been an incredible champion. Again, 3 months and more for me is what I need to see of him as champion to be legitimized in my own eyes as a fan of his title reign. So hopefully he does retain at Battleground, retains at SummerSlam, and then after that, whenever they want to take the title off of him. But hopefully that should be the case, even though I know most are not on that thinking. Most people that I talk to, besides Mark and Kieran, and others, that they think that the title is going to be dropped at SummerSlam, which, hey, maybe in the end that is. Maybe that's just how it's going to be. But for me, I kind of like it to be the opposite way, and him actually having a longer title reign, again, would make it more respectable in my eyes, make it more than just an India thing, even though in the end that probably is part of the reason why he won the championship. But I think that we wanted to give him something that he deserved. He earned it with how hard he's worked since he came back to the company, and not not being lazy, as some say about my boy Dean Ambrose, by the way. Which I knew individuals backstage that knew that, or have said that, words for you. But anyways, not being that way, and earning this push that he's now has gotten. Now, also, did it also happen because of Rusev and him not being there and him being out for injury? and the push that was supposed to go to Rusev went to Jinder. That's business. That is what it is. That's the unfortunate part of business, but it is business. So that being the case, Jinder Mahal took the ball and ran with it, I believe, and he's certainly doing a good job of heel, especially having the Singh brothers. I think that was another good move by WWE, putting the Singh brothers with Jinder Mahal and having that team. They're kind of like Miz and his Miztourage on Monday Night Raw. Who he might not be the Universal Champion, but he is a champion, IC champion. But point being, kind of that same thinking there over on SmackDown with Jinder Mahal, with the Singh brothers, elevating him even more so in my eyes as the champion and doing things heelish ways. Having the Singh brothers there to help him out each step of the way moving forward. That's why I do actually see him retaining at SummerSlam, whatever type of match it is. But a 4-way, 5-way elimination chamber within Hell in a Cell. I don't really care what type of match it is. I do believe and do hope that Jinder does successfully defend the WWE Championship at that point, because you never know. John Cena might be going over to Raw, might be having a match, be part of the Universal title match, or part of something else, or get back to the Miz. Who knows? He might take the IC title from him. That's him being a free agent, which I think they should be playing up and using more often. Have him showing up on a Raw, maybe in the Raw after Battleground. Battleground, yes, is a SmackDown pay-per-view, but John showing up on Raw after SmackDown's pay-per-view, whether he won or lost, whatever, and him showing up on Raw, why is he on Raw? And then, you got to watch to see, sort of thing. And they promote it like, say, he does it, tweets out something Monday morning after Battleground, or one of those WWE.com exclusive videos at night, one of those things. Either way, promoting it that way and, having that intrigue and interest for that Raw after the Battleground pay-per-view event after next weekend.
I actually kind of agree with you when you said, Steve. Now, I actually have a small feeling they might take the title off Mahal at Battleground because storyline, he doesn't have the same brothers to really help him. But at the latest, I think SummerSlam is where he'll drop the title. But when it comes to John being a free agent, I'm actually all for the free agent thing now. At first, I was kind of like, but now, if they're going to do this storyline, they have to use it to its potential. Get the matches out of John that we all want to see. Well, at least I know I do. John versus Samoa Joe. John versus Nakamura. John versus Seth Rollins again. John versus Dean Ambrose. All these great matches you have a chance to get out of before he this storyline ends or he retires or whatever is next. So hopefully they don't just do something stupid like they just put him in small matches. Like he'll go to Raw and have a match on Raw with Joe or something. No, have him go to Raw and build up a great match for someone we all want to see him face and have it play out on pay-per-view, whether he wins or the guy wins. That's just how I would do it. I wouldn't want to see him just go to a show and have a one-off. Have him go to a show and build new feuds.
All right, and Paul Jay, welcome to the show. We'll get your thoughts on the last couple of things that we've been talking about. We start off talking about Kurt Angle, that situation, Paige and Del Rio, relationship issues, and now finishing up talking about Raw and SmackDown. So the floor is yours. Talk about those things again. Kurt Angle storyline, Raw and SmackDown shows, and Paige and Del Rio.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. With the Kurt Angle storyline, the secret one, I think his secret is he having an affair with Stephanie McMahon. This can set up like a Triple H versus Kurt Angle match at WrestleMania. So yeah. About the Paige situation, Paige, she should leave Alberto Del Rio because, Alberto Del Rio, he's no good. He's not cool. He's not really cool. I think she's scared of him. That's why she keep defending him. So yeah, and you want me to talk about Raw and SmackDown this?
Yes. This
week? Okay. Raw, I didn't really watch it, but I only saw the part when Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns was in the ring. That's the only part I saw. You know, I mean, that was a good segment. You know, what about this? Brock Lesnar, you know, when he get in the microphone, he always gotta say something else crazy. You know.
He can say whatever you just say or do whatever he wants. Like WWE isn't gonna care.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Brock Lesnar, he don't care about the WWE. You know, he want the money.
That's obvious, Palmer. That's obvious.
Yeah. SmackDown. I'm really liking how they pushing Jinder Mahal. You know, I'm not really a big fan of Jinder Mahal. You know, he trash, but at the end of the day, I respect him. I respect his character. So yeah, and Carmella, you know, she can cash in any. You know, I think it's gonna be at SummerSlam. You know, they should have had a John Cena versus AJ Styles if that overrated trash Rusev didn't ruin it.
Overrated.
Trash.
Overrated.
Trash, really, bro?
Overrated. What? You're crazy. That man's not overrated. He's underused, big fella.
Still there, Palmer?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were going to respond to Mark. But no, that's fine. Hey, it's his opinion. I mean, I have my opinion about Bray Wyatt. He's maybe not trash, but he's not one of my cup. He's not my cup of tea. I would say, put it that way. But anyways, I don't know if I'd ever go trash like Palmer J and Rusev, but hey, Bray got his wins. Good for him. Now we'll see where he goes from here. The other news I want to bring up is something that was brought up in our Twitter interactions back and forth. Brought up by Stephen A. Follow him on Twitter at StephenA1181. Again, that's StephenA1181. He was bringing up from Cage Seats reported from them that the rumor mill is that SummerSlam will have many multi-superstar matches. You know, if you were a bookie, if you were going to Las Vegas, the over-under would be a 3.5, I would say. 3.5 matches. Will be multi-superstar matches. I would actually go over. I think there's gonna be four or more, but we'll see. And you guys know my love for multi-men, multi-women, multi-superstar matches. Clusterfucks, as some other people put it, but I actually enjoy the chaos in that way because it's unpredictable. That's why most love the Royal Rumble. That's why that's awesome. It's unpredictable. Who knows who's gonna win? Yeah, we have our favorites. Yeah, we think we know where WWE is going to go in certain storylines, matches, and things in those rounds, but I do enjoy them. Elimination match, or not elimination, Elimination Chamber, Championship Scramble. Remember when they had that? I think they had that a couple times, even, or at least I think they had it 3 times. One pay-per-view event: WWE title, World title, ECW title on one pay-per-view. Because that's when Jericho won it. Won the World Championship in the Championship Scramble match for the World Championship there for SmackDown at that time. But either way, what are you guys' thoughts on SummerSlam? And where would you go on the betting line? Over, under, 3.5? Where do you stand for multi-superstar matches at SummerSlam? Mark?
You know, I don't really mind multi-superstar matches. It just has to be the right type of match with the right type of people. You can't just put any group of in a match and expect it to be good because it's multi-superstars. Like, you think of it like this. Every freaking time there's a pay-per-view, there is a women's wrestling match for the SmackDown roster. Honestly, I'm getting sick of it. I want singles matches. You could at least do a triple threat match. I wouldn't mind a triple threat match. But every time even on SmackDown, like the show itself, not its pay-per-views, there's always a multi-women's wrestling match for the women's title. I don't think that's a great idea because it's really wearing off. You're almost expecting it to happen, so it's not like it's anything good. And when you look at Raw, I mean, for crying out loud, they're having tag team matches. Every now and then they'll have, singles matches, but it's still at least keeping them relevant. I think SmackDown should take notes on Raw's way of doing things. But like I said earlier, I wouldn't mind multi-superstar matches. It's just been going on for so long. I wouldn't like for that. But if they want to do it, at least make it good. At least make it like a ladder match or something different.
Well, here's the question then. Where would you go on the betting line? Would you go over or under the 3.5 for SummerSlam?
So, like, from a scale of 1 to 10 type of thing?
No, I mean on the betting line, like for betting 3.5, like 3.5 being that number. Do you go over 3.5? Do you think there's gonna be 4 or more matches that will be multi-superstar, or do you think it'll be 3 and under? Like, where do you sit?
For SummerSlam, right?
Yes, SummerSlam.
I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna go under. Under 3.5.
Okay. Palmer J, what are your thoughts on this?
The multi matches, I mean, they could at least do. Wait, it's for SmackDown, right?
Well, we're talking about it overall, and then betting line of 3.5. Like, where do you stand? Do you think there are going to be 3 or less multi-superstar matches at SummerSlam, or 4 or more?
Well, like Mark said, it depends like who you giving the match to. Like it depends like how well you gonna book the match. I mean they should at least like do a ladder match. I agree with him. And, with the matches, I think it's gonna be like at least 3 matches.
Okay, Kyron?
Mark put it perfectly. I'm getting a little sick of multi-man match now. Because like we all said, SmackDown's women's division, we're just having too many of them every single week. It's at every pay-per-view they've had at Backlash, it was even at WrestleMania, it was a multi-women match. Backlash, a 6-woman tag. Money in the Bank, the Money in the Bank match, and we've had tag matches and everything. I am just sick of it. I remember like SmackDown first pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber, we had 3 singles matches involving women, 3 one-on-one matches. But nowadays we're not doing that. What happened when they used to branch out the women's division in different feuds? I love that, and that's why I gave SmackDown a nod over Raw because of stuff like that. But nowadays it's getting boring. I'm fine with a triple threat match and a fatal 4-way, but I'm just sick of putting every SmackDown women we have together in a big match. It's just getting old and tiring. Now at SummerSlam, I can see about 3 matches being multi-superstar. Heck, I'm banking and hoping that the Universal title match is a fatal 4-way. So I'm hoping for that. But I think at least 2 other matches will be multi-man matches.
That's where I would be 3. The WWE Universal Championship, the Raw Women's Championship, and Raw's Intercontinental Championship. So pretty much all on the Raw side. And I agree with SmackDown Live with the women's division using all their female superstars there in matches, and using them all in simple matches every single pay-per-view event for SmackDown Live. But hopefully that comes to a head at Battleground next Sunday. That pay-per-view for SmackDown Live. That would be the end of it. We get a number 1 contender, Naomi, faced up against somebody. Maybe even at SummerSlam, we see Carmella cashing in, being that first ever Miss Money in the Bank. James Ellsworth was supposed to come back around that time. I do believe 30-day suspension ends around SummerSlam week. So maybe a surprise return. Not so surprising, but still a surprise return. Helping Carmella successfully cash in, become SmackDown Live Women's Champion, and hopefully after SummerSlam, SmackDown Live can start building other superstars in the women's division on their brand, having other feuds, other storylines for them than just being kind of a lazy booking and putting this all together in multi-women matches for each and every event they have, and even each and every show. So hopefully that is the case to them. But I do see those 3 matches on the Monday Night Raw side being multi-superstar matches. Again, that being the WWE Universal Championship match, the Intercontinental Championship match with The Miz being the champion, and also maybe even the tag team titles on one side, being multi-superstar. So certainly be interesting. Raw Women's, I see in Raw Men for the Universal being that way. But I was just looking at something, but one last thing I want to bring up. Did you guys see the live thing on WWE's YouTube channel of the Mae Young Classic earlier today?
Yeah,
I did not.
I watched it after the fact. I didn't watch it live, but I did watch it.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if anybody watched it at all. Because I was just going to bring it up. They had their parade of champions. They also announced their JR and Lita, which is an interesting team. I think they in their own right have some work to do. Jelly and everything. Then again, they're already doing tapings then. But point being, and I guess Medusa is going to be also part of the broadcasting team.
Yep.
So there we go. Why? You know what? I know JR's a legend. He's the best in the business. He is the best of commentators in professional wrestling. But maybe they should have, as being the women's tournament, the Mae Young Classic, maybe they should just have all women on commentary. Have Medusa, have Lita, but then also having Renee Young, being the head commentator there. Have her in the commentating role, which then would be her learning and, trial by fire, I guess, even in a way, technically. For maybe someday being a Raw or SmackDown announcer herself, being the first woman to be part of the announce team for WWE on one of their main shows, Raw or SmackDown Live. So that's where I would have went with it, but JR obviously is a good choice because he is J freaking R. But I think with it being Mae Young Classic being a women's tournament, it might have been and behooved WWE to continue and do it that way. Have Renee Young with Lita Medusa in that right. But what are you guys' thoughts on the tournament? They're going to have a bracketology immediately following SummerSlam, so that's something to watch. After watching 5 hours of the pay-per-view bracketology of the Mae Young Classic to learn about some of the women that I've never heard of, didn't see them wrestling in their indie promotions and promotions they were part of outside of WWE because, yes, I am I guess in a way, WWE fanboy, of course. Well, I still usually watch. I mean, it's enough content with Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT, and other things as well with WWE than to watch other promotions, literally at all, let alone continuously to keep up on their storylines and things going on there. But from what I see from other promotions from time to time, then I'm able to great content over there for sure. But it's just, focused on WWE. But anyways, get you guys thoughts on Mae Young Classic overall, and who do you think would, to you right now, be your favorite to win it all? Karen?
Well, first off, I want to respond to what you said about the commentary. Like you said, it's JR. No one is better than him. He's still the greatest commentator I've ever heard in my life. I'm off. I could see why you say let's have it'd be cool having an all women's announce team. Just because I see Renee Young. She's at do some commentary. She's not really bad at all. But with JR, that he's irreplaceable. You can't replace him. But who do I have as a favorite? I don't really have one, saying the fact that I don't really know a lot of the work of any of the women. I can take a guess that anyone that came from Japan or probably won't win. Just like how Kota Ibushi didn't win last year, the Cruiserweight Classic. So I don't have a favorite. I'm just gonna be watching this, completely blind. Like I've heard a few women, like Tessa Blanchard, but I've never watched anyone, religiously to say, okay, I know their style, I know what they're good at, I know their weaknesses. I can't really give you an opinion of who I think is gonna win.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Palmer J, did you? What do you know about the Mae Young Classic? Who do you think you see going out as a winner for this whole tournament?
Well, on commentary, I can see where you're coming from, Steve. Like the idea of the classic, probably have like all women commentary, but I mean, JR the GOAT. He made wrestling more entertaining.
Right.
Like back in the Attitude Era.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know who's in it yet because I didn't watch it yet. But you know,
Well, that's why I think. Well, I didn't mean to stop you there, but that's why I think you, Kyron, Mark, even myself. I know some of them, but not all of them. But for us to learn about them, watch the bracketology show. That's why I like they did that for the Cruiserweight title or Cruiserweight Classic. Stealing the bracketology idea from college basketball that had bracketology when they announced the brackets for March Madness in the college basketball tournament. But WWE using bracketology for us to learn about the female wrestlers part of the Mae Young Classic. So I'm looking forward to actually watch that after the 5 hours of SummerSlam on August 20th there, I believe, August 20th. Our prediction show will be August 17th, Thursday. But after that, having the bracketology show, learning about these other women's journey, why they earned their ticket to be part of this tournament, why WWE reached out to them, have them part of this thing. Some actually technically are already signed to WWE. Some already been on NXT tapings and shows. So that's interesting in its own right as well. So it's certainly going to be interesting for me, again, to learn about all these women from all over the world, their backgrounds, their fighting styles, their stories, their journeys. And like for me, I always go to Grand Metalik as my go-to. Who I became a big fan of his, and his was the first match of the whole entire Cruiserweight tournament and the Cruiserweight Classic. So maybe there might be some women from this Mae Young tournament that I'll become a fan of while watching them in the WWE ring and seeing how they perform. Now, I know some people are talking about maybe from this tournament they should have an all-women's show. This whole women's evolution in professional wrestling, and it's been happening in sports and in other ways outside of pro wrestling already. But in professional wrestling specifically, I guess that would be another step in that women's evolution. But to me, I don't think that would be the way to go. The next thing, I still say, being a women's Royal Rumble, that women main eventing WrestleMania, and those two being the next stages of that. Because if they do a all women's show, then you have to take the women from your Raw and SmackDown brand, which then, especially for Raw being 3 hours, it's going to be hurting that. So what are you guys' thoughts on that aspect of it all? And anybody can go.
Yeah, but like you were saying, I don't think that they're gonna have an all women show after this classic. They're probably gonna the winner. They're probably gonna face like one of the women's champions, or they probably gonna have a title shot if on Raw or SmackDown. But yeah, there is gonna be a women's Royal Rumble and women's elimination chamber. But one day I think there's probably gonna be an all women pay-per-view. That depends if they get enough women wrestlers. And I really like how they pushing the women's division. Back in the day, the women's matches, it was like bathroom breaks and snack breaks.
Yep.
So yeah, I really like how they doing this.
Well, I feel that same thing like Palmer said. Women's matches were just bathroom breaks and whatever. And the Attitude Era, they were literally used for masturbation breaks.
That's facts.
But like I said, I don't see them having like an all women's pay per view or anything. The roster's just not big enough for that. Like now the winner of the tournament, I think they'll get a medal or trophy, and possibly a title shot for an NXT women's title shot. I don't think they'll put them on the main roster yet. But I can see like a medal and a trophy, maybe an NXT women's title shot. Or here's one thing that I thought about just now: what if Asuka beats Ember Moon at NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3, and she moves on to the main roster and vacates the women's title? And since the tournament starts after SummerSlam weekend, how about the winner of the tournament becomes NXT Women's Champion? I can see that happening too. That's just what I think will happen. I think like that could be a possibility. Even though I think Ember Moon's gonna beat Asuka NXT Takeover 3, Brooklyn 3. But if not, I can see Asuka vacating the title and the winner of the tournament getting the NXT Women's title.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to say if whoever wins this Mae Young Classic, which is gonna be really good, I think they're gonna get a title shot. I mean, not a title shot, not bad. I think they're gonna get a contract for sure. I don't think they're gonna get a little probably medal or trophy or whatever, and they're gonna get a title shot. I don't think they should make their own wrestling show. I really don't think that's a good idea. It's already enough wrestling a week because think about this shit. Monday Raw, Tuesday is Tuesday is SmackDown, Wednesday take NXT, Thursday they probably have some stuff on the WWE network, and then Tuesday you don't forget you have 205 Live. I mean that's a lot of wrestling in a week, and then on certain weeks you have the pay-per-views, and then you have takeovers on Saturdays, and then the actual main event pay-per-views on Sundays. That's a lot of wrestling in some weeks. I don't think it'd be a good idea to make their own show. I think you just add a shitload of talent on the SmackDown and Raw women's brand to give them more depth so they don't have to keep making all these multi-women matches. They can have one-on-one matches and build everybody's character instead of just throwing them in a ring and expecting them to just make a good match. I don't think it'd be a good idea to make their own show.
Yeah, actually, I don't think it would be either because because you'd have to have the rosters from Raw and SmackDown, which hurt their own shows. More so, Raw being 3 hours. Then again, we don't know if Raw will ever go back to 2 hours, but
I hope so.
we'll just say hopefully. But as of right now, what does that contract go to 2019 for USA Network? So for now, it'll be 3 hours until that point, and when they can negotiate a contract, then maybe they will go to 2 hours for Raw. So Raw and SmackDown being equal in that way. And then maybe with Cruiserweights staying on their own show, 205 Live to build their brand, women might have their own show for branding. So, that could actually work at that point in time. But that pretty much runs out with all the news and notes. Raw and SmackDown itself also talked about here today. I'll just go around the horn and see everybody's closing statements and promotions of their Twitters and otherwise where you could find them on the internet. I'll start with Palmer J.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Supreme Palmer. Subscribe and like my videos. And follow me on IG at Palmer Got Trophies. Free EDP 445 channel.
Free EP.
Mark.
Hey guys, you know the deal is you could subscribe to my YouTube channel FMLG Mark Ramble. Macaroni Food Gang all day. My Twitter is Marcus Ramble, and the I and the R all up with my Instagram. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram and be socializing people, I guess you could say. My Instagram is Live Like Ram. I don't think they'll ever change it. If it does, I'll change it. Change the link for you guys. And my Snapchat video link. So if you guys subscribe to my channel, it's like a 2-for-1 special. You get my videos, and then you get my Snapchat. Then go ahead and add me on Snapchat. I'm really active on that. Same way I'm active on Twitter. But yeah. Make sure you go subscribe to your man. Subscribe to everybody's channel on this freaking podcast. Latest group out here.
Oh, that is true. That is dang true. Last but certainly not least, Kyron.
First off, Steve, I want to thank you for not making this a Great Balls of Fire review because I can't review any more of that show. I've done so many videos on that show, but I love being here every Thursday and whenever you do the show. Follow me on Twitter and all my social media on /ProKyron. My DeviantArt and Tumblr Kyron Chase, all lowercase. Subscribe to my YouTube channel Kyron Chase, where I do videos on wrestling related topics, Sonic the Hedgehog, and My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. And I love being here.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't even think to do that with so many other things going on. We could just move on from Great Balls. We did our live reactions and stuff and quick reviews, and you guys doing stuff on your own channel. I thought maybe best to not have to bring that all up again. But Everybody, welcome to follow me on Twitter at WB_podcast. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to everybody that is part of the show. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel that I will have in the link in the bio. She was a guest of mine yesterday. Yes, yesterday. For talking about Star Wars: The Force of Evil. We talked about our predictions and our preview for that 2-hour movie event, Battle for Muni, that will start season 3 of the show on Disney XD. That is this Saturday morning, July 15th. I believe 9 o'clock a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. Again, Star Wars: The Forces of Evil, Battle for Muni, 2-hour movie event. So she was my guest there. So I have her YouTube channel, a link there for her channel for each and all my videos this week at least, to promote her. And I thank her for joining me in that video. And I thank you guys for joining me each and every week here for Steve's Wrestling Ramble. And thanks to everybody watching live and those that will be watching archived. If you are watching archived, welcome to like the video, share it, leave your comments in the comment section below. If you have any questions, I will certainly answer them as soon as I can, answer them as well. And as always, take care.
Peace out.
Peace.
Bye.